Okay, I'm very fortunate to be joined today by another Angus Gilfillan. Angus is the CEO and founder of Finspo, and Finspo is a startup sort of fintech finance company, which has a specific goal around helping people pay off their home loans sooner. And to do that, I believe they do that by helping consumers and people with home loans to reduce the cost of banking. Is that right, Angus?
Yeah, thanks, Angus, and yeah, thanks for having me today. So Finspo, yeah, we're a new breed of digital broker, and what we're solving for is that banking is a really high expense for the average Australian, but it's not an expense that's really visible in terms of how much it's costing you each month. So there's a lack of visibility, and then it can also be quite tricky to figure out how to save. Like, all the banks' products are quite complicated. The power relationship between Australians and their banks is quite one-sided, and people don't know how much they're paying, which means they don't therefore know how much they could save. And what that means is, in the long run, people are carrying debt for too long. And what we're really aiming to do is make it really easy to get a home loan, and we've got a great digital and human process to get that loan, make it cost you as little as possible whilst you have it, enabling you then to pay it off faster than you could with any other provider.
Okay. So in terms of where the problem stems from, is it really, I suppose, like, are we talking sort of hidden fees and charges that the banks charge, or is it sort of a lack of consumer understanding because the banks don't tell us what they don't want us to know? How does that side of things work?
Yeah, so look, it is. I think we all know that banks are not necessarily the most loved industry in Australia, and there is some valid reasons behind that, and they're a category that can just change price on you without asking. So have you ever noticed that your interest rate can go up or down? Yeah. They don't even always tell you that your rate's going up or down quickly. So it might be that 6 months later, when you get your home loan statement, your price has changed. And banks don't necessarily tell you when you're doing something that's costing you money that's earning them money. So if you're paying credit card interest, they won't necessarily let you know in a timely way that you should make a payment to avoid that interest. So there's lots of complexity in the system, a lack of transparency, and the average Australian is just not well armed in order to manage that complexity. So what Finspo does is it helps you get a snapshot of the cost of your banking. So you connect your accounts to the Finspo app, and then we've built personalised insights for how your banking products and how to save. And usually there's 3 key ways to save. So the first is, if you've taken out a home loan more than 3 months ago, it most likely means you're paying a lot more than a new customer. And on average, there's 0.5% difference between those who've taken out a home loan in the past and those who have one today. And if you put that over, a $500,000 mortgage, that's $2,500 of cost per annum. So it's a big number, and it's a number that doesn't get the visibility it should, because you can save money on your home loan and your banking more easily than you can on almost anything else. So home loan's a big one. The second one is in fees, and again, the average Australian household pays about $460 a year in bank fees, and some of them are the fees you'll know about, like your credit card fee or some transaction fees, but some of them just creep up on you. And what we find is people get quite a big surprise when they see how much they pay in foreign exchange fees from those little transactions they've used with their credit card online, which is only sort of 1 or 2% of each transaction, but by the end of the year, it's added up to $200, $250. And I guess people are just not aware of the options that are out there to not pay those fees.
Yeah, right.
And I guess probably the third category is how you manage your cash balances across your different accounts. And once again, the bank won't necessarily tell you that you've got money sitting in an online savings account that is at the end of its bonus period, and so you're earning 0.1%, but at the same time you've got an offset account or a credit card that you're paying 19% on. And we've had a lot of examples of customers that have thought they were doing the right thing, saving money, and they might have had $20,000 in a savings account, but they've had a credit card where they're paying interest on a $5,000 balance, and each month they're paying the bank hundreds of dollars even though they've got enough money to be not doing that. So it's just trying to make all of those little decisions easy so you can get on top of your banking, and you've got a partner in your corner that's just constantly looking at your accounts and making sure you're on top of things and fully optimized.
I see. So just before we go into the detail of the app and how it all works, so just a bit about your background. So what made you want to tackle this problem with the cost of banking and paying off home loans?
Yeah. So I do need to say I have been a banker most of my career. So it's I feel very qualified to run this sort of business, but it's been something that I've wanted to do for quite some time, is to do something that, particularly my family and my kids could be really proud of. And Finspo was an idea that came to me a couple of years ago when I was on one of those wonderful bank trips, not junkets, but my wife would say junkets. But we're actually over in Israel looking at payments and banking innovation over there. And I met with a number of startups, and it just started me thinking, well, what if I was to do a startup, what would it be? And what do I know that I can help Australians with in terms of a big problem they've got? And taking a step back, you just think of the cost of banking and why is it so expensive? Why are the 4 big banks in the top 10 size companies in Australia? And why do people just not like them so much? And I think it just does come down to this power equation, where people just feel that they don't necessarily understand how everything works. But even if they want to change something, it's too hard, so they just forget about it. And the problem with forgetting about it is that it's costing people so much money. And when it comes to their home loan, it means that they're living with debt for way too long. And 26% of women retire with a mortgage, 20% of men retire with a home loan. House prices have never been as high as they are today. And I feel there's a place for a company to come in and help people really own their home faster, and just level that playing field when it comes to dealing with your bank, so that you can feel confident that you've got your banking under control.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so you worked for the banks for a long time, so you sort of know how they work. So I imagine you've been able to sort of take that knowledge into how you built the app. Is that right?
Yeah. So just a bit more on my background. So for the last 5 years, I was the Executive General Manager of Consumer Lending and Insurance at NAB. And then before that, I had another 17 years in senior roles at ANZ across mainly consumer banking, but also wealth management and wholesale. And so I was the guy that was helping the banks figure out how to make more money through its product portfolio. And my team are some very, they're handpicked by me in terms of very capable people who also played a role working for banks, helping banks optimize, I guess, their customer and profitability portfolios. So we're taking all of that knowledge and understanding of how the products work, what market pricing is, and consumer behavior, so that we can put all of that into the arms of the consumer, basically in an app, so that they can save money on their banking. So we've built a Finspo brain, if you like. So it's a rules engine which ingests your banking data and categorizes that into fees and charges from your bank. We couple that with all the product data in the market in terms of all the different consumer banking products, their fees, their rates, and any qualification rules they have. And then we couple that with all the market data we get from the Reserve Bank as well. So massive amount of data that we collect, and then we're able to provide the user with personalized insights based on their products and their behavior, and then what else is happening in market and how they can save. So yeah, it's pretty clever tool. The genesis of the idea of how to actually make it work came from my chief product officer, who built the home loan pricing engine at NAB. And it was a similar concept in terms of looking at all the different products in market, the customer data, and spitting out a recommended price for a banker to talk to a customer about. And we've taken that logic, if you like, and used the Finspo brain to then give that advice to the user.
Right. Okay. So you've got an app. So I've downloaded the app and hooked it up. So tell us a bit more about the app, how it works. I mean, you've spoken about the data behind it and all that, but for I suppose a person who's doesn't know a lot about banking and not necessarily know a lot about their home loan, how does the app work and how does it help them?
Yeah, sure. So you download the Finspo app from the App Store, and you connect your accounts. And the first tab that you'll see within the app is what we call the Finspo bill. So that's the total cost of your banking for the last 12 months. And think of that a little bit like your electricity bill or your gas bill. It's providing visibility of a really important cost that people don't get exposure to. And you can cut that by each month, by each product, or you can look at it over the last 12 months. So if you like, we're trying to create that bit of bill shock that you would get from other bills that arrive in the mail, and the electricity bill arrives and you go and tell all the kids to turn the lights off because we paid $200 in electricity.
Yeah.
You don't get that with banking because people think they can't change it. So we're trying to bring the visibility, and then you'll see there's a little tab there called Save, and that Save tab has all of your insights which are developed real time that show you what the opportunity to save is, and then they talk you through how to achieve that saving.
Yeah. So
and a lot of the.
So I was just going to say, so if we go back a step, so when you set the app up, you connect it to your bank. Is that right? So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The app gets all your bank data. So in terms of the data it gets, does it get transaction data, or how does it work, or is it just the fee data? What's it getting?
Yeah, so it collects all of your transaction data, and we've built what's called a categorization engine so that we can identify what are the fees and charges that your bank is charging you. Right. And that enables us then to pull together your bank bill, if you like, so the cost of your banking for the last month, the last 12 months. Okay. And once we have that baseline, we can then start to manage it. So on average, the average Australian, that's a good saying, on average, the average Australian, on average, Australians spend $10,000 a year on banking. And if they use the Finspo app, they can save half of that. So they can save, from our experience, it's $4,500 they can save by getting on the right product at the right rate, avoiding fees, and managing their cash in a more optimized way.
Right. Okay. So the app gets all your data and it tells you where you're spending all your money on your bank fees and various charges and that sort of thing. So that includes your mortgage and your interest rates. Is that right?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And so what we've built what's called a home loans tab. So within the app, there's this little snapshot of all of your home loans, and it has your balances, the rate you're paying, how that compares to market, and then how to make a change. So we have a team of home loan experts. So a lot of things with your banking you can do yourself. So you can make some changes to your banking in terms of where your balances are, or to avoid fees. But on the bigger stuff like your home loan, it makes sense to have an expert in your corner. So we have a broking team that works with over 38 lenders to help you manage your home loan portfolio and really get you easily into the right product at the right rate. But what's really different about us versus any other digital broker is that we have an always-on digital app that is constantly monitoring to make sure that your rate is competitive, and then giving you those insights on all the rest of your banking to help you save. So when you couple all of that together, it means you're going to own your home much faster than with any other provider.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's good. That's good. So just going back a step. So in terms of the app, I'm sort of thinking that maybe there could be, I suppose, some privacy concerns. Like if you get this app and suddenly all your banking data is on this app, is there any reason to be concerned at all about privacy?
Yeah, I mean, good question. No, there's not. So we use bank level security for the app. We've partnered with one of the credit bureaus to access your transaction data. So it's a company called Illion, and a lot of your customers might know of Illion because they're also trade as bankstatements.com. So the banks use them to, when you're applying for some products, they suggest you go to bankstatements.com to collect your income and expense data for them to use for that assessment. They're also formerly known as Dun & Bradstreet. So really reputable, safe provider, and that they're the ones that access your bank data on our behalf. They do it in a way that it's read only, so there's no transaction capability, and Finspo doesn't store your credentials at any time. That's all kept within Illion. So it is a very secure way to connect. I understand that there's still reservation from people in connecting their accounts, so there are other options to work with Finspo where you can speak directly to one of our home loan experts, and that's still a great way to make sure your home loan is competitive and you've got the best deal you possibly can.
Yeah.
You can still access a lot of insights on the website in terms of, we have a lot of articles about how to manage your banking.
Yeah.
But the best experience that's always on and connected and personalised, it is to use the app. And I think we find that a lot of people are comfortable to use the app when they see the value that they're going to get from that. But we also find that people are quite happy to maybe try us first and speak to one of our experts, understand the proposition a bit more, and then they might connect the app a little bit later. So it's really up to the customer.
Yeah, right. So the app gets all your banking data. It tells you what your fees are and all that sort of thing, and then it suggests changes that you can make just by looking at the app. Is that right? Yeah,
that's right. So there's a few different categories of insights. So there's some that are scene setters. So it's there's a concept in banking where you're a net borrower or a net saver, and why that's important. So if you're a net borrower, it's really important that you have your debt in the lowest interest rate possible. And it sounds intuitive, right? But you shouldn't be paying credit card debt at the same time as you have money in your home loan.
Yeah.
That you could be using your home loan to manage some of that debt. And similarly, if you're a net saver, you want to have your savings in the highest possible interest rate. So you want to make sure you're in the bonus interest accounts, getting the bonus savings. So there's some educational insights explaining what sort of user or customer you are. There's some explanatory insights around what all the rates are on your products. And again, it's a relatively straightforward insight, just seeing what rate you pay on your credit card, every home loan, and your savings account. But if you want to go and find that. And then there are insights on where you can actually make changes to save money. So whether that's on your home loan, as I mentioned before, the example on your foreign currency fees, or how to avoid fees. There's about 20 different insights within the app now.
Yep.
One of the insights is a score out of 1,000 that basically tells you, for the products you have, how optimized you are. And if you're at 1,000, then that would mean that you're doing the best you possibly can. So you're on a great rate, you're avoiding all the fees you can, and you're managing your balances perfectly.
Okay.
I don't think I'm a banking expert, and I'm at a bit over 500.
Right.
And the reason why that is because for my kids, I have some pocket money accounts, which are not part of my offset account. So that's an inefficiency there, but I know it's there, so I'm okay with that. And then I could refinance my home loan to a slightly lower rate and get some benefit there as well. So it's a good way to just check how you're going, your Finspo score. And then there are other notifications and insights where we tell you when something good or something bad has just happened. So your rate has just changed on your home loan. You'll get a notification saying, Angus, your rate's just changed. You might want to check your app and make a change. Or you've just been charged a fee, or you've had a fee-free streak. So we're doing quite a lot in terms of reinforcing positive behaviours. And so letting users know when they're doing really well and to keep it up.
Yeah, right. Okay. And so in terms of paying off your home loan sooner, so the app shows you that, say you're with a bank that's charging you a higher interest rate than another bank. Does it give you the range of options, or does it show you the best bank to go with, or is it a matter of calling one of your brokers and then your brokers sort of work through what your options are? Yeah,
great question. And it's really up to the user how they want to drive that. So within the app, there's a option to research options.
Yeah.
And so it's really a sophisticated comparison tool. So based on your home loan type, so it might be an interest only investor loan, for example.
Yeah.
You'll be able to compare loans like yours across the market, so you can see how that stacks up, and you can do all of that within the app. And at any stage, you can then connect to book an appointment with one of our experts. So you can do a bit of research yourself, and then you can connect with an expert. Or if you see that you could be saving 0.5%, you might just want to connect with an expert straight away to let them do it for you.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's good. And so when someone connects with one of your experts, it's just like a phone call, a Zoom call, that sort of thing. Is that right?
Yeah. So it's all remote. So it's a face-to-face video conference.
Yeah.
So again, just the feedback. I think post-COVID, everyone's just very comfortable working on video conferencing.
Yeah.
And it enables them to do, like, just cut out the travel time, make it as easy as possible. They can do it from their lounge room, their office, or a coffee shop to have that conversation with one of our experts and really get the ball rolling towards saving and owning your home faster.
That's good. That's good. Okay. So if someone wants to get going, they simply just go to the App Store and download the app. It's that easy. Is that right?
Well, that's the easiest way, is to connect the app to your accounts.
Yeah.
Or else they can also follow the link that we'll be sending out with the newsletter to book a time with one of our experts. So they can either just go to finspo.com.au and book a time there with one of our experts, or download the app. So there's lots of different ways. We'll try and make it as easy as possible.
Okay. And so just briefly, mentioned before, you've had some customers with some good experiences. So just talk us through some of the ways that some of your customers have benefited.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, the biggest saving is generally the home loan. So people have taken out home loans multiple years ago, and they just haven't realised how out of market they can be. And we've had customers that are saving $10,000 a year because they've moved their home loan with Finspo to a more competitive rate. Some of the benefits are, one of our team members actually got an alert that the rate on their home loan had changed. So they'd come to the end of an interest-only period, and their home loan rate, I think, went up like quite a large amount. And they just hadn't realised, and they got the notification. They called the bank, and they were able to sort it out quickly. And then probably the other one is just people paying fees that they didn't realise. And I know we all probably should check our bank statements to see what fees and charges are in there. But without having it in an easy to digest format, things can fall through the cracks. And I've had some people connect their app, and they've still being charged a home loan package fee that they paid off their home loan, years ago, and they're still getting charged the $395 for that. So it's lots of different ways that people can save, and we've had some great stories of people saving a lot of money and being able to do something much more important to them than giving it to their bank.
Yeah, good stuff. Oh, it sounds excellent. And so the app's constantly being upgraded or being developed. So there's always new developments. Is that right as well?
Yeah. So we launched the app last November, and so we've been up and running for a bit over 6 months now. Mm-hmm. And every 2 weeks we run a sprint within our team, and we launch a new version of the app. So every 2 weeks we're adding new functionality. The focus at the moment is very much on that home loans tab. And what we find is that whether you be a bank or a different broker, everyone's great at helping you get the loan in the first place, but no one's really good at helping you manage that for that 25 years, whatever it might be, to then pay it off faster. So helping people manage their home loans in one spot, see their balances, what's an investment property which is deductible versus a non-deductible owner-occupied portfolio, and what are some of the ways you can optimize those portfolios to own your own, particularly your owner-occupied home, faster. So we'll be spending a lot of time in that tab. What you will see in the next month or so will be trying to show users pictorially what the difference some of their decisions will make. So some people are really motivated by saving money on their home loan, which is great. So get on a better rate and you're going to save, you know, $200 a week or whatever it might be. Whereas others are motivated by owning their home faster. So showing that if you take up this insight, it means you'll cut 2 years off the life of your mortgage and you'll be able to be debt-free faster. So yeah, trying to, I guess, just make it easier for people to make their decisions based on what their preference is.
Yeah, cool. Good stuff. All right. Well, thank you very much for taking me through all that. It's excellent. I hope that some people find it useful and get in contact, download the app, and yeah, save some money. So sounds good.
Yeah, no, terrific. And thank you. Thanks, Angus. And yeah, I welcome everyone just to give us a try, and I guarantee you we'll save you some money.
Good stuff. Thanks, Angus.
Thanks, Angus.